Welcome back, YouTubers, to another Q&A with us, the British Fist.
Catching.
I am Ron Daniel Park in Burgundy, and this guy sitting next to me is NJ, the best in the world.
What's up?
Do you mind me if I call you CM Punk, or would that make you look like a quitter?
I quit this.
I guess you've just got me then, guys, unfortunately. Oh, no, he's doing a massive U-turn, which CM Punk will probably do after his failing UFC career.
Oh, yes.
If you have any questions for us, please put them in the comment section below. I don't know why you just clicked your fingers like a sassy black woman. Yeah,
Question number 1.
Yeah, Paul Erickson Alejandrino.
Hello
We're
again.
continuing his questions from last week. What are your thoughts on Sasha Banks as a diva in general, and do you think she will get called up to the main roster? I think Sasha Banks, I rate her as a wrestler. I think she's getting there from a character standpoint. She's getting there from an acting standpoint and a mic standpoint. That's why they gave her the NXT Women's Championship. I think she'll get called to the main roster. I'd give it a year, though, unfortunately. What, you don't like Sasha Banks?
Don't come up to the main roster. We've said this in most of our previous Q&As. Because when you come up, you'll get a good 3 months. And then you'll be in there with the rest of them. So stay where you are. You'll be champion, respected as a champion. Come to the WWE. You'll be respected for about a month, 2 months if you're lucky. And that'll be it. Let's say stay where you are.
But isn't the goal to try and get to the main roster?
If you're okay having tag team matches, then yeah.
She might be okay with that.
Yeah, she might.
How long do you think it will take until Kevin Owens gets called up to the main roster? Oh, we're going all out with these questions today. Give it a year. I mean, I think WWE really like Kevin Owens when he comes to the main roster. You can book him really well. You've seen how well he gets booked on NXT. He's going to be in WWE in a year.
I don't think it's going to be long. As much as I want the NXT to have their top guy, a guy that you can see as their top guy, with a guy like Kevin Owens, the WWE is pretty much needing him because of the big guys who are eventually going to be leaving.
To be honest, he's one of those guys that WWE needs. Like a big guy, a brawler, a fighter. You know, he's the kind of guy that I think fills a gap in that WWE roster, especially if we don't have a Mark Henry or Kane is not really being, you know, he's being put in big spots, but if he's not performing as well as we think he should do. Kevin Owens fills a gap in WWE, in my opinion.
As long as they don't make him come in and dance.
Like, oh.
Funkasaurus!
The Owensasaurus. Oh
Please
my God,
don't.
Please don't do that. I've seen pictures of that on Google, and it makes me just want to be sick.
Terrible idea.
Yeah.
But I don't think they can do that because of what Kevin Owens is doing for the time in NXT to now.
Yeah, well, Brodus Clay was going through jobbers on Superstars before he debuted his Funko horse, but there you go. Superstars is probably a bit higher than NXT right now, but there you go. Robert Hernandez would the Royal Rumble have been better if the Final Four of Roman Reigns, Daniel Bryan, Dolph Ziggler, and Dean Ambrose? There would have been less predictability.
Bryan, they're all faces.
Yeah, but at least you could say this. At least you could say, well, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan are probably the two favourites to win it, so it's going to be between them two. You never know. Daniel Bryan could win. A lot of people wanted him to win. You know, Dolph Ziggler would have been nice to see him in the Final Four just for the chance that he's getting a long run in the Rumble. And Dean Ambrose definitely, I think, after the year he had, deserved to be in the Final Four. Just would have been way better than having it come down to Roman Reigns, Kane, Big Show, and Rusev, in my opinion. Especially Kane and Big Show. Why the fuck were they in the final fucking 3 of the Royal Rumble?
I think those 4 are great, even though I would have probably replaced one of them with a really... I would put Rusev. I would put Rusev
instead of Dolph Ziggler.
Yes,
yeah.
That.
Oh yeah, I would. I'm saying this is better than what we got.
It would have been, yes.
Yeah, it would have created a lot more unpredictability, which would have made the Rumble end a lot better. And you wouldn't have had to have the Rock come out and go, because I don't like Roman Reigns. Anyway,
no.
Stuart Allison, do you think the Dudleys and Hardys should be inducted into the Hall of Fame? If so, when? I mean, they're a big part of the Attitude Era. I think if Edge is going to get in the Hall of Fame, and eventually maybe Edge and Christian as a tag team will get into the Hall of Fame, I think they should be in, even though the Dudleys are in the TNA Hall of Fame right now.
But sir, look at this, and they all had involvement with TNA.
But not enough to... I don't think they've had enough involvement because
Bully Ray.
WWE, I think, can forget about all that and focus on the Attitude Era stuff and what they did with, say, Jeff Hardy as a singles guy. And that's why I think that they could actually be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
As much as I can see that too, I just think of the rivalry or the feeling between WWE and TNA. They may not do it, especially after Jeff Hardy's recent... He's picked himself up, but he went through a bit of a bad phase. But if they're looking past all that, the classic tag teams I don't see why not.
As to when, who really knows?
I think because we've already had big names over the last few years, I think bringing in tag teams that haven't had recent time in the WWE would be great.
Renegade Man 83. Do you think NXT should be its own brand in comparison to Raw and SmackDown? It already is. Triple H has gone on record to say that NXT is now, because of its popularity, a completely separate brand. So it's no longer really the developmental brand anymore, even though it is a developmental territory for WWE. It is now its own brand, especially now with the WWE Network.
I do think NXT's getting treated a lot better than, far better than what it used to be. But I do think NXT could do with make it feel a bit more bigger than what it is. Probably give it another hour.
They're going live now. No, they're not going live. They're going on tours and stuff, and they're actually going on the road, and they're doing those live specials like every few months.
Well, I think actually either going live or giving them a second hour on main TV would be better.
What, rather than the WWE Network? Because it's exclusive to the WWE Network. So
if they want it to be bigger, I think having a time when it is live on TV would be.
I think when they first went to NXT, Triple H did try and get it on TV, but they didn't really want it because they just saw it as like a just not really suitable for TV. But I quite like it being NXT. I quite like it being WWE Network exclusive. I think it would. The brand is made better by the fact that it's being represented on the WWE Network as a big deal and like their second most watched program, as opposed to TV, where I don't really think it would get much advertising or anything like that. I don't think as many people would watch it personally.
I think to make it. My main point was anything to make it bigger. Yeah.
Do you think the reason Alex Riley was in the doghouse was because of Cena or his many botches? There are a lot of stories going around that it was because of John Cena, and apparently Alex Riley had some sort of bust up with him, and because of his bust up with John Cena, he got put in the doghouse. I don't think you can really blame his botches, because at the time he was a new wrestler coming in on the scene. He'd done a little bit of work with The Miz, and you got to remember when he turned on The Miz, that was his first real, legit singles action by himself. So he is going to botch a little bit. You can't really blame him too much. You've got to put faith in the kind of guy. But it was mainly because of John Cena. I mean, that's the stories we're getting.
Even though it still happens nowadays, I would have possibly used, if it was Cena, even though Cena's never going to be that guy because we keep wishing it and the WWE keep failing it, I would have brought a backstage thing between Riley and Cena and had Cena, okay, I'm going to say this, but if wishes were fishes, brought it to main TV and had Cena put over Riley.
So you actually wouldn't want that?
No, I would. I would have brought their backstage, instead of, doing...
make it into a storyline, you mean?
Make it to a storyline. Yeah. And it would never happen, but eventually Riley comes out on top.
This is a good question. How bad was the way WWE booked the Lesnar versus Roman Reigns feud? Little or no interaction with each other, no face-off between the two, fans disconnected with the match, not much hype compared to other matches. Even Mayweather and Pacquiao fight had more hype and interaction than this match. I think what they were going for was two big behemoths not touching each other until the pay-per-view. I mean, I admit the build was it started off really well with that. You remember that Raw they did where there was a storm or something and they had to do it all backstage. I think it started off quite well there and kind of just sort of kept drained off because then he didn't show up on many Raws and Roman Reigns booking got became a bit of a joke.
That storm thing, they did something really good when they ended the Jack and the Beanstalk stuff. Reigns the week following was brilliant. That's where the backstage stuff happened. He was very serious. He had a face-to-face with Lesnar, tell him to be prepared. And all the jokes were pushed to a side, and Reigns went on to look somewhat ready, fighting person to face Brock. That was brilliant. But I think the downfall to this question was everything before the Big Show feud. And
Jack and Beanstalk stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't necessarily blame WWE for booking it that way, in the sense that you don't have them touch until the pay-per-view. I just think that the problem is they came off the Royal Rumble, and it was really bad. A lot of people didn't really feel very good about Roman Reigns winning the Rumble. They didn't really feel too hyped about the Roman Reigns character. Whereas I feel like 6 months earlier, people would have loved the fact that he won the Royal Rumble because they were really into the character at the time. It was something new. It was just bad timing. But to be honest, it's the match. It was the only match that really could main event WrestleMania, in my opinion. Which is why they had to have Seth Rollins come out and cash his money in the bank briefcase. Otherwise, fans would have just gone mental for Roman Reigns winning.
I think if the WWE didn't want to prove that Roman Reigns is a face by making turn into a jokey character and have him try and step up to the big show, I think we would have had the Roman Reigns leaving the Shield, the guy that people loved in the Shield and following the Shield. Brilliant. But I just think the WWE, I am blaming the WWE because they decided to try different things out with Reigns to see if it works, and it failed. The fans turned on him, so I'm blaming the WWE.
Yep. Usually it is the WWE's fault. Michael Murray, Mr. Parkin, after the good run of the last few United games, do you think second place is a possibility? Well, at the time, I was thinking second place definitely was a possibility. We were on a run of, I think, 6 or 7 or 8 games where we went undefeated and we were winning most of them. And that was the time when we had, Michael Carrick playing well. We had a consistent team sheet every week. We were getting a little bit lucky as well. So I definitely thought at that point second place was a possibility. And then we lost 3 games in a row, mainly after a lot of injuries. There was a lack of consistency in the Man United team. They were dominating games, but they weren't really, they weren't scoring anywhere near enough goals, to match that domination. So to be honest with you, second place was a possibility at the time, but after our recent run of form, I'm very, very happy with top 4. That was my expectation at the start of the season. I just wanted fucking top 4. Renegade Man 83. Mr. Parkin, if you were to book an NXT Takeover show, what matches would you put on the card? I must admit, I like the idea of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens as the main event in like a no DQ match or something. That would be a definite match in my opinion. I'd definitely do Finn Balor versus Hideo Itami, best friends, going after a #1 contendership or something. I think that would definitely have some ring to it. One match which is happening on NXT Takeover this time around is Baron Corbin versus Rhino. 2 unstoppable forces going at it. I think that would be a good match. As for a women's championship match, because that's generally the semi-main event. I mean, I think they've already done the best matches, so I'd just have. Go on.
I think because it doesn't, maybe it has happened in the past. I would have had a NXT champion versus a WWE champion.
So you would have Paige versus Charlotte or something like that.
Something there to show the future to even the tag team. The same.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea at all. As for the tag team division, we don't really have that many tag teams in NXT right now. I mean, the current champions are Murphy and Blake, and they're all right. But
New Day.
But I mean, you could maybe bring a few tag teams down from WWE and do a fatal 4-way tag team match or something. I don't really know. I don't really think you can do much great stuff with the tag team division in NXT. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. What other characters are there in NXT that we think deserve a match? I'm probably going to miss someone out here. No, I can't really. Unfortunately, I can't really think of anyone else I can put in the match.
Riley.
But what would you really do with Alex Riley at this point? And Miz, on NXT, I don't think so. But I think we've got 4 or 5 good matches there that could fill 2 hours. So I'm not too fussed about that. Maybe have bring back Adrian Neville to face someone like Kalisto or something, who's an up and coming Rey Mysterio. I don't know. Next question. Why do people bitch about Cena or Roman Reigns in the title picture, yet nobody bitches about a 45-year-old Kurt Angle as TNA champion? Why is that? I guarantee when EC3 becomes the TNA champion, nobody will complain about that, but with Reigns, it isn't acceptable. I think it's mainly because the people that watch TNA feel a bit of respect for someone like Kurt Angle who's been there, done that, and is still actually, and I think they feel a little bit respected by the fact that he's still in TNA. I don't think he should be champion, but that's why I think people don't bitch about it. But again, at the end of the day, he is another old guy holding the TNA championship because that's what the network wanted.
My biggest opinion on this is when I look at Cena, when I look at Reigns, possibly what they're going to do with Reigns is them two are not seen as guys to really put someone over.
Or guys that can't wrestle. Guys that can't. They're basically seen as guys that can't wrestle, whereas Kurt Angle is seen as a guy that is a great wrestler.
That's 2 points. Yes. Yeah. So Angle, I could see being someone to put wrestlers over. Cena and Reigns possibly not. So I think we're not bitching about Kurt Angle because he does the job. Cena and possibly Reigns, just not those guys.
You just know that no good is going to come out of feuding with John Cena. We've seen it with Bray Wyatt. We've seen it with, we saw it with Rusev as well. I mean, what's Rusev doing now? He's going to lose to John Cena, 3 times in a row? I mean, Jesus Christ. Later, we could probably answer more on this question, but to be honest, it would just piss us off. Lance Runt. 2 years from now, after Roman has improved in all of his shortcomings, do you think fans will still be booing and won't be able to shake off like Cena? Well, only time will tell. I think Roman Reigns and WWE are going to have to try and win the fans over a little bit on Roman Reigns. I think some point down the line, they'll turn him heel and have him be like, if the Authority is still around, I think they'll have him be the face of the Authority. But they'll try and play on the fact that that's what the fans don't want to see.
And that's 2 members of the Shield in the
Seth Rollins could be babyface. Things can change in 2 years.
I'll say this now. The WWE could surprise me, but I think it's going to take a lot for me to like Roman Reigns. I can't stand that. Not as bad as Cena. Cena's far up there. No one's going to overpass him. But Reigns, I think the Shield reign's brilliant, but what they've done with him is just...
Here's my thing, right, is you need to be able to relate to a babyface. You need to be able to get behind the guy. Now, what is it about Roman Reigns that is stopping you from getting behind him and stopping you from really relating to his character?
It happened for quite a long time, and it was Orton who changed it temporarily. It was being booked so freaking strong, and I'm like... I understand if the heels were beating you down and you suddenly broke out of that in rage and you started to pick up wins or momentum there, but you went through a long phase, Roman Reigns, where you was unstoppable, you was winning matches, no one could keep you down. And I think that is what we've had from Cena, and it was just pushed so strongly until the Viper Orton did that stomp and the smashed you down, then you went off and beat him and stuff.
So you're just seeing comparisons with John Cena, and that's what's putting you off.
And I just want to see when Orton beat him down. I was thinking of vulnerable beating down Reigns. Brilliant.
Next question: what 4 guys do you see being the replacement of Ruthless Aggression top stars? Okay, so we've got to pick 4 up and comers that are going to be the next big 4 top. So Roman Reigns is going to be our sort of pretty guy babyface, as the girls would like to. I think Seth Rollins.
That's it. I was doing the laugh.
Yeah, of course you are.
Yeah.
I think Seth Rollins is like kind of like Edge. He's like the ultimate opportunist. And when he was a heel, Edge never really won clean or never really won without help. So I think Seth Rollins will be like him. Although it wasn't really Ruthless Aggression, but that's just another example. What about Rusev?
Oh, I wish.
Bray Wyatt?
I wish. Those 2 are being badly treated. I would have said Rusev if it weren't for Cena. I would have said Bray Wyatt if he actually, had some backup, positivity. But I'm not counting the Ambrose feud because that was more to get Bray Wyatt ready for Undertaker. So to be honest, I wouldn't count those 2 yet.
Dean Ambrose?
Same thing. They're in the same boat.
And that's the problem, really. I mean, you've got Roman Reigns, you've got Seth Rollins, but who else is really being positioned to be a big star? I mean, I could go on a limb and say Kevin Owens could be the next Brock Lesnar, but who knows if that's going to happen or not. And that's the problem with WWE. You can't see these guys becoming massive money draws for the WWE. I don't see Seth Rollins being a money draw. Roman Reigns, I'm still kind of on the fence with. It really depends on WWE, but who else is there on the WWE roster that they can make it? Who else is there that can legitimately main event WrestleMania? Because I don't think there is one person other than maybe Roman Reigns if you put him up against a big opponent like a John Cena. That's the only person who I can see really potentially legitimately main eventing a WrestleMania.
And I hate the fact that I've just put down Bray Wyatt and Dean Ambrose, but it's just the WWE haven't really given me there's the future there, like they have with Reigns and Rollins.
I mean, you remember like guys like Rock and Austin, you just got the feeling, you just knew that they were going to be big stars in the WWE. It wasn't necessarily because of their booking. It was just because they just seemed to stand out above everyone else.
That's beautiful.
Now, I understand that Bray Wyatt has shown out above everyone else, but how much of a bitch has he been made to look recently? You know, a babyface turn should be imminent with someone like Bray Wyatt because he has no momentum right now.
No.
Really, even though he semi-main evented WrestleMania, you know, that's how bad it is. He was the semi-main event of WrestleMania facing Undertaker, and then afterwards, irrelevant.
They had Rusev, who we were seeing as a Umaga 2.0. He went up against John Cena, which should have been Rusev's time to overpass Cena. Ambrose breaks out the Shield.
Yeah, pretty much. And that is where we're going to end this Q&A. I'm sorry, we keep ending on negative notes, but that's wrestling for you, unfortunately. There we go. If you want to ask us more questions, do so in the comment section below, please.
And from the best in the world, Mr. Parkin and me, NJ, please keep believing in. Yeah. And until next time, YouTubers, goodbye.